Hi, Dennis here. Charlie Golf 3 Bravo Foxtrot, or Victor Echo 3 Bravo Foxtrot. Here at the picnic table, I've been using the Charlie Golf prefix to help celebrate Canada's 150th birthday. Today I wanted to talk about the HyEndFed antenna. This is the 5-band unit. It's called the Mark III. Incredibly well-built antenna. That's my first thing. When I opened the box, I went, wow, this thing is well made. And so I want to tell you a little bit about it, give you my thoughts on it, and to be honest with you, they're all good. I took this antenna out of the box, immediately threw it up as a sloper antenna. And so it's going from roughly 6 feet high up to an apex of 30 feet, pretty much straight line. And I made contacts with it into South America, and remembering here that I'm in Ontario, Canada, I made contacts into Brazil. I made contacts, a contact into Argentina, Spain in Europe, and also Ireland, and that was all on my first tries. The other contact that I made, which was really cool, is the very first contact. I'd been testing the SWR on 20 meters, and it was ranging anywhere from 1.6 to 1.1 to 1. And somewhere in the phone band around 14,200, I answered a CQ, and I'd forgotten that my rig was on 5 watts. So it was pretty neat. I made a QRP contact, got a 5.5 from a station in Georgia, and that was my very first contact with this antenna. Let's take a quick peek at how it's built, and let me tell you how I put it to use. All right, so if you remember from my earlier videos, I've been working most of my contacts this summer from the picnic table here on Narran Island in eastern Ontario. I'm on the St. Lawrence River, and here's the antenna here. I just mounted it on one of the standoffs of the gazebo here. Okay, so here's the antenna box itself. Really well built case. Looks like it's well water sealed. There's a vent on the bottom here. This one's mounted on the aluminum bracket. So I've got it hooked up to one of the posts on the gazebo. This is wire going to my station ground. It's attached here. My station ground in this case here is a 2-meter long grounding rod staked into the ground on the other side of the gazebo here. And here's the antenna going off, and there's a strain relief and an adjustment here so that you don't over torque the wire. And 2 saddle brackets suitable for a 2-inch mast. Now, one of the things that I knew about HyEndFed antennas, and you may be aware, is they're notorious to cause RF interference. So where you mount your antenna box, whether it be close to your home or farthest point of the yard, you're going to have to do a little bit of experimenting. As you know, I'm here at my trailer, and I was getting some RF interference when I transmitted on 20 meters. Even though my SWR was good, I was getting some feedback. And I have a product on my RV which is common to a lot of RVs. It's called the Magic Fan, and it's got a rain sensor, and it's supposed to stop and close the lid when it senses rain, and it does that through a little sensor that's on the roof. Well, the RF from the antenna on 20 meters was causing my fan to speed up, slow down, the lid to open and close. It was driving the dog nuts. It was driving my wife nuts. So I was really bent on trying to find a solution. I changed the way that I had my ground. I put a longer coax and I spread it across to help that become part of a radiator to help eliminate some RF. All to no avail. Anyway, I was messing around with another piece of coax. This is a 40-foot piece of RG8X, and I had a loop on it here because it was attached to a dipole. This is a 150 millimeter loop, or 6 inches, and it's just 4 turns turned and then taped. Anyway, I put that on just to see if a little bit of choking would help, and bingo, it worked. No more RF interference. So I'm not going to say that this is a must. I'm not going to say that this has to work with everyone. You don't say that you have to do this, but it worked for me. So I'm really pleased, because this antenna, really well built, as I've said before, and I'm going to say it again through this video, and super easy to deploy. You probably can't see the 18 gauge wire here, but it's going up over a branch behind the camera, and a straight line basically to a tree about 30 feet up in the air, or what would that be? That would be 10 meters. And it's pretty much a straight sloper, and I've been getting terrific results with it. I'm very, very pleased with this antenna. So a couple of things here. First of all, the antenna right out of the box it loads up really nicely, and it's resonant with a nice SWR on 40, 20, 15, and 10. Didn't have to use the antenna tuner whatsoever. On 80 I did. The antenna is cut a bit long, and in the instructions here that I have in my hands, there's a note shortening the antenna by 1 centimeter or 0.4 of an inch. That'd be about 3/8 of an inch. Will raise the resonant frequency by 4 kilohertz on 80 meters. So, you know, you can very, very easily make the adjustments. You'll see when I take it down that there's a clip at the end. All you need to do is open it up with a little wrench or a pair of pliers and pull the antenna lead through and clip it when you get to the area that you want. Take it one step at a time, just a little bit each time. It may take you a little longer to do it, but it's much easier to have to cut it multiple times than to cut it once and find out that you're too short and now you gotta put on another piece of wire, you gotta solder or do something like that. It's just one of those things that I find. Now the antenna itself is made from 18 gauge wire, and one of the notes in the handbook here, or the little leaflet that comes with it, is that they mention not to make it very tight. Hang the antenna loose to avoid unwanted force. Makes an awful lot of sense if you got branches that are swaying. And if you force the antenna, if you stretch it, obviously that's going to change your SWR, and your antenna is not really affected by hanging a little bit loose. It's going to resonate just fine. One of the things is that the maximum force on this wire is 35 kilograms or 70 pounds, and it says it will break at 40 kilograms, which is about 80, 85 pounds. So don't stretch it too tight, and I'm sure this antenna is going to work very, very well for you. Okay, so I took the antenna down off the trees and well, out of the tree and off the gazebo. And so here's the antenna box itself. This is the aluminum plate. Now I believe this is an option. Again, I didn't buy this antenna firsthand. It had been tried out. It was purchased by a friend of mine, and he found out that it was too long for his lot. So the aluminum plate, I believe, is an option. It's on there, and it's kind of handy for mounting. It comes with, or at least mine did, came with these 2 saddle clamps. Now these are I think they're marked 65 here, so I'm not sure if that's 65 millimeter, but they're at least 2 inches. I didn't measure them. They'll fit a 2-inch pipe very, very easily, so no problem there. And they have the saddles, lock washers, and flange washers, and double nut on each. So great for mounting. It'll be nice and solid. On top, beautiful lug here in nice and sturdy quality. The antenna lead itself is on a clamped with an eyelet to take the strain relief off of the cable. And the cable is also wrapped into a shrink wrap of some kind. So again, keeping the strain off of that cable, or off of the wire itself, going into the antenna port at the top. Down at the bottom, you got your SO239. You've got a vent here to vent out the moisture and allow heat condensation that would be inside to vent out. And because the balun does get warm. This is a known factor on these types of antennas. And then your ground plug. So make sure you have a good suitable ground point near your antenna to get rid of any stuff. So the load on this one is 200 watts PEP. I certainly had no problems on sideband. I didn't do any CW contacts with it, so I'm not sure. I wasn't able to go and physically, I didn't go and physically touch the antenna to see if it got warm. But the build quality is great. Now, of course, you've got the long wire that's pre-tuned. And of course, I'm going to get this tangled up here. So you got the long wire that's pre-tuned. You don't have to do anything with that. And then the coil section, and I'm not sure if the camera is picking this up. Let me get in a little closer here. This is all covered. This is the coil section for 80 meters, and this is all covered in shrink wrapped. All of the ends are covered. This looks like it's stainless steel hardware. It's a Nylox nut, so it won't come loose, and it looks like it's PVC pipe. Really well made. Really, really impressed with the quality. So that's the longer section, and of course the shorter section on here, I can just drop that down. This is the shorter section. It comes with a strain relief. And this is the adjustment point that I was talking about earlier. So to shorten and tune the antenna, you would just loosen this nut, pull this cable back and cut it. Don't leave it long and hanging, because the antenna will see that and not realize. The antenna doesn't care that it's folded over, so you will have to cut it, and do it in small steps so that at least you don't have to lengthen it when you find your resonant frequency. So there you have it, the HyEndFed antenna, multiband Mark III, good for 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10 without a tuner. And I was able to load it up with my TS590, the internal tuner, loaded it up on 17, on 12, and on 6 meters as well. So pretty cool antenna. Definitely going to be in my bag of tricks for portable operations. And let me see, I forgot to mention that the total length of the wire, 23 meters. So look for this online. They have a website, www.HyEndCompany.nl. I'll put a link in the show notes. Thanks for watching. I'm VE3 Bravo Fox. Hope to see you on the air sometime. 7-3 for now. Don't forget to subscribe.